Good afternoon to the members of this committee. We also welcome our guests and resource persons. Thank you for the cooperation and assistance to this committee. May I now direct the COMSEC to inform this committee as to the resource persons that were invited and those that have responded to the invitation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, the following resource persons have responded to our invitation. From the Energy Regulatory Commission, we have Chairperson Mona Lisa de Malanta, Mr. Vladimir Mancenido, and Engineer George Herbert Manuel. From the Department of Energy, we have Undersecretary Sharon Garin, Attorney Gabriel Corpus, Ms. Madonna Naling, and Ms. Levitica Grace Bautista. From the National Electrification Administration, we have Administrator Antonio Mariano Almeda. From the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, we have Attorney Leonor Felipa Cynthia Alabanza, Attorney Lali O. Malyari, Mr. Clark Agustin, Mr. Christian Areño, Mr. Giovanni Randolfo Galang, Mr. Engineer Isidro Cacho, and Attorney Manuel Martin Escasura.
Thank you very much, Committee Secretary. Our last briefing regarding the topic was held on September 4, 2024, where the following points were raised. Number 1, 28 system impact studies remain pending with the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. The committee members maintained that the embedded generation and allowing third-party construction are some solutions to NGCP's problems. DOE confirmed that NGCP sometimes allows generators to undertake projects and that there's a need for more transparent system so generation companies know what they are allowed to undertake. The DOE further reported that there's a need for additional requirements on transmission due to the influx of investments. As such, there's a need to review NGCP's concessions agreement and franchise. The committee ordered the NGCP to divulge that what other shortcomings they are experiencing so Congress can consider the same in the amendment of the EPIRA and other related laws. Since then, the ERC, in its decision issued November 26, found that NGCP has failed to justify significant delays in the implementation of capital expenditure projects. This resulted in the 12.3 million peso fine for the grantee. Previous to this, in August 2024, ERC also penalized NGCP in the amount of 3.5 million pesos for delays in completing 10 other CAPEX projects. With this background, may I now start by asking ERC to update us on the recent decisions regarding involving NGCP.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning to the honorable members of the committee. I am pleased to update the committee that we have. We're at the tail end of the reset for the fourth RP. We have completed all the evaluation. As per our rules, we are required to publish the draft final determination for the reset for 2016 to 2022, and we have done so. And there were comments that were submitted by the stakeholders, including NGCP, and we are completing the evaluation of these comments, and we expect to issue the final determination by January 2025, Mr. Chair.
ERC, you still have the floor.
Maybe just to complete the status, Mr. Chair, the main point of, if it can be recalled, in November of last year, we issued the partial determination. This is for 2016 to 2020, which resulted in a reduction of the allowable revenue of NGCP. In the final determination, because of changes in the approaches adopted particularly by the majority of the Commission, there is now a potential increase in the allowable revenue of NGCP. This is now subject to the final evaluation of the Commission.
Million sa NGCP, kaka-fine nyo na ng 3 million as stated. May I know?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That is in relation to the delayed projects of NGCP. We investigated 37 delayed projects. We, as required by due process, we required NGCP to submit their explanation. Out of the 37 projects, we found that there were unjustified delays for 34 projects. Because of the number of projects, this was not taken up in just one commission meeting. We had to take it up in 2 commission meetings, and so there were 2 decisions, but they were part of one lot of investigations of the commission. So it was a fine of total 15.8 million pesos for 34 projects with unjustified delays.
And that's averaging around 500,000 per project if I am to divide.
If we just
more than.
compute,
Is that how are the fines established?
Yes.
Is this a fixed rate or is it?
Mr. Chair, we have a schedule of fines and penalties. The first two instances of penalties are only penalized, I think, at 100,000 pesos per violation, and then the succeeding ones are at 500. So there was a graduation of penalties. But since we realized that the cost of these penalties were, couldn't really be compared to the cost of the delays, but we are bound by the schedule of fines and penalties, which capped it at 500,000 pesos.
Chair Di Malanta, may 3 million, merong 12 million. Tanong, bayad na ba ho?
Yes, Mr. Chair, nagbayad naman po sila, pero meron pong parang paid under protest. Because they said they will still explore the legal remedies available to them to address the findings that we made.
Thank you very much. Yusek Sharon Garin, you were raising your hand. Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
it's a general statement for the issue.
Please
Mr. Chair.
speak close to your
It's
microphone.
not related it's not exactly related to the issue discussed by Chair Mona. It's a statement of DOE on the issue on the climate change vis-a-vis the transmission assets we have.
So it's not really connected to what you said. Yeah?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So maybe NGCP, where's the representative? Ma'am,
Good morning, Mr.
kayo
Chair.
naman po. Ano po masasabi nyo? Dun sa, ano po update sa mga delays on CAPEX projects at saka system impact studies?
For the system impact study, Mr. Chair, we don't have any more delayed SIS. We're all up to date. If there are any pending SIS right now, it's within the timelines that have been prescribed under the relevant regulations. As regards po the statement of si Chair Mona on the penalties, the reason we are exploring our options is because we've seen also that there are some really misalignment on timelines. There are several po that are projects that are subject of the ERC's latest penalty order, but I'll just draw an example po. Yung malaking proyekto sa Visayas po, we filed that with the ERC in March 2015. It was approved in July 2019, and we completed it in March 2024. So that was completed, if you count from the time that they approved it, a little over 4 years. However, of course, because this was a very important project, we did begin construction of this project before the approval date. So, there's really an issue on the alignment of timelines, but I do know Chair Mona is working hard so that we can align these. And same for NGCP po, na meron talagang regulatory delays kaming hinaharap, pero at the same time, ginagawan rin ho namin ng paraan para mabawasan ho yung mga magiging actual delays sa implementation. But again, marami rin po kaming ibang naging hadlang, katulad po ng isang Supreme Court ruling na nagsasaad na hindi po maaring mag-implement ng mga proyekto na wala pong ERC approval. But again, constant naman po ang aming coordination with the DOE and the ERC.
Attorney, you manifested in the last hearing na an impact study don't takes you 90 days to go through this. Is this still followed? Are you able to, kasi ang sinabi ng DOE during that hearing at saka ng mga power generators na hindi po totoo na 90 days lang.
Mr. Chair, actually it's 60 days and currently po wala po kaming backlog. So kung meron pong mga pending pang SIS, it's within the 60-day period.
Okay. So you confirm that you're within that range?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
When you say there are no delays, talagang there's nothing pending on your table right now?
Kung may pending po, it's within the 60-day period allowed to us to issue the SIS po.
Okay, I'll get back to you there. Sharon, I think, are you going to yield or you want to answer that? The statement of the NGCP.
There's
Yes,
two
you said
things.
Sharon Garin muna, ha?
Mr. Chair, there's two things in the SIS.
Yes.
There's the queuing part and then the SIS part. So we have to differentiate. Kasi before kasi taon-taon din para makapila ka eh. And then also it takes time for them to finish. Para sabihin sa'yo, halimbawa, mag-apply ka ngayon, ang iba niyan naghihintay ng isang taon or 6 months para mapila sila sa SIS. And then the SIS, it depends also on the NGCP how long it will take.
Attorney, the 60 days that you've mentioned, is that the queuing part or is that, what part is this? So, lumalabas, there are two moving parts here.
Yeah, may I refer, Mr. Chair, Mr. Randy Galang to answer more with more specificity.
What's his position in NGCP? Ano po position? Bagitin pong pangalan tsaka yung position niya.
Good morning.
Good morning po.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm the Assistant Vice
Please
President.
speak closer to your microphone. Thank you.
I'm the Assistant Vice President of Technical Management Department.
Okay.
The 60-day period is the period to complete the study,
Okay.
not the queuing. And once a proponent agreed with the timeline, so they know that they will follow a certain queue. In other words, they accept the timeline of NGCP. And also, they have the option to engage the services of a third party in case the timeline is not acceptable to them.
Mr. Galang, ganong katagal naman ang queuing part? It takes you 60 days to approve, pero the queuing part can take 5 years. Am I correct?
I will check the queue we have right now, but right now we don't have any pending system impact study.
Okay,
Mr.
I
Chair.
would like to know what is the average time frame allotted for a queue. Kasi may queuing part po kayo. Kunyari, mag-apply ako na yun. Eh, bago umabot po sa study, it can take years. And that will cause the delay also.
Mr. Chairman, it's not necessarily a queue because it's in accordance with the proponent's own timeline. In other words, they agree that they are still on time once they know the schedule of our system impact study. So it's acceptable to them, in other words, Mr. Chairman. So it's not necessarily a queue. They know that the study will start on a certain period, so it's acceptable to them. Otherwise, they have the option to engage the services of a third party.
You mean that the queue will not delay anything, really?
That is correct, Mr. Chair. Kumbaga, pag sinabi na ang study po nyo mag-start next month, acceptable po yon sa proponent.
That's right.
Kasi kung hindi po, they have the option to engage the services of a third party.
Yeah, pero kayo pa rin na mag-approve nun, di ba?
Yes po, review na lang po yun. Mas mabilis po.
That's why nga kasi ang gusto ko malaman, from day one na ma-queue ko, ganong katagal, meron pa bang umabot ba ng taon na naka-queue?
Wala pong ganon, Mr. Chair.
Wala. Thank you very much, Mr. Galang. Okay, so we will get back to you. Are there any other members that would like, ERC, do you confirm that?
Mr. Chair, actually last year or early this year, we received complaints from developers that have been in queue for more than a year actually. That's why we ordered NGCP to make their queuing system transparent, post it in their website, and they have done so. So maybe currently or in the existing status, there are no queuing of that delayed magnitude, but in the past there were, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so the transparency has made it faster?
I think so, Mr. Chair, because because there were charges before that NGCP would prioritize certain projects. So we said we don't tolerate that. So make your process transparent, and they have done so.
Ma'am, so that we're all on the same page, please define developer.
They are most of them are RE developers. They are generation companies that intend to build power plants before they can connect. They can start building, but before they can connect their plants, they need the system impact study from NGCP.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. So, any member that would like to ask a question?
Yeah, just very quickly, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable J.J. Suarez, our Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much. This is very quick, Mr. Chair. I was going through the concession agreement that NGCP entered into, and since we're talking about projects of NGCP, Mr. Chair, can I request for a list of all the accredited contractors used by NGCP to repair, maintain, improve, expand their transmission assets? Mr. Chair?
Please.
Yeah, so I just need that list, lahat ng mga
NGCP, I'm sorry.
accredited contractors nila.
NGCP, there's a request by the Deputy Speaker.
Yeah, we submitted it already, Mr. Chair.
May I confirm with the Committee Secretary? Are you in receipt of these documents as requested? Can you please show the Deputy Speaker
And the
first?
specific projects, Mr. Chair, that they've undertaken as well?
That has not been submitted. The
Specific projects per
Yes.
contractor, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Okay, we will submit.
That has not been
We will
submitted.
submit, Mr. Chair.
Kasi dito po natin makikita, Mr. Chair, kung talagang up-to-date at saka yung performance ng NGC pagdating sa pag-expand ng mga bagong linyang kuryente na kinikailangan ng ating mga bayan-bayan, especially yung mga tinatawag natin geographically disadvantageous area. So I just wanted to see from a macro level the performance of the contractors being employed by NGCP to improve our transmission lines. So not just the list, but I also need the specific area and project that they're engaged in. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So we're clear. We will be expecting those documents
Yes, Mr. Chair.
before the next hearing.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you
Chair.
very much. The next interpreter would be the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Okay, thank you
of the
so
Lone
much.
District of Santa Rosa City.
Maraming salamat po. 23 tayo ngayon. Nagtatrabaho pa tayo. Talagang para sa bayan. Alright. So, maraming salamat sa lahat ng resource persons who have been here. A while ago, Chairman Mona Lisa have mentioned itong final determination by 2025. If I'm not mistaken, noong 2019, we started discussing about this weighted average cost of capital kasi it all boils down with this, no? And even the delayed projects that we are talking about, lahat po yan ay kasama doon sa pinakadulo na kung saan ay magkaroon tayo ng final determination for the weighted average cost of capital. So ang tanong ko dito, Mona Lisa, doon sa pagdetermine ng final determination by 2025 from 15.01% weighted average cost of capital that was computed since 2011 and used for the third regulatory period of 2011 to 2015, bumaba ito ng 10.3. Tama? Am I correct?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Yes, okay. So, bumaba po yung ating weighted average of capital. Kung baga, ito yung profit na makukuha ng NGCP. Would you agree with me that in the consideration of the final determination, you have a draft initial determination that was approved by the ERC? And in accordance with the discussion of the members of the commission, I have seen that you have nag-hire po pa tayo ng mga appraisal para po doon sa pag-compute ng ating regulatory asset base.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Ang tanong po ay?
Nag-hire ang ERC. Di ba nag-hire tayo ng
We hired consultants.
Royal Asia Appraisal Company and also the NCL for the phase 2. Well, ang tanong ko doon, kasi having said that the weighted average cost of capital ng NGCP will be 15.01 to 10.3%, parang hindi po ako makapaniwala na ang ating magiging final determination by 2025 is 10.3%. Considering that according to your discussion with the members of the ERC, ay ang appraised value that was submitted by the RAAC was 173 billion. Am I correct? Doon po sa inyo pong kasi if I'm not mistaken, ma'am, you have dissented na doon po sa decision sa final determination.
Apo. Rulemaking po kasi siya, so technically hindi po dissent, but we have a different two commissioners, myself and Commissioner Maceda, wanted to continue with the basis that we made in the partial determination, which is only to recognize the CAPEX that have been completed and commissioned by
So in other
NGCP.
words, yung po mga project na use and useful.
Yes.
So in other words, those projects that were completed and commissioned,
Tama po.
which are all efficient,
Yes.
which is in accordance with the rules of the ERC.
Apa.
So, having said that, ano po naging ruling ng ating pong ERC?
Apo.
To adopt that those projects that are not completed yet will be part of the opening RAB of the fourth regulatory period?
The decision po, Mr. Chair, of the majority is to allow NGCP to recognize the CAPEX for the CAPEX of the value as spent. So it's
As
the
spent,
as spent
correct.
approach versus the commissioned,
Yes.
completed and commissioned approach.
So in other words, parang ganito to mga kababayan sa mga members of this committee. Parang yung project na ginagawa po ng NGCP, hindi pa po nagagamit, hindi pa siya useful, hindi pa siya commission, hindi pa natin makikita na siya efficient dahil hindi pa siya tapos, sinisigil na natin sa taong bayan. At ito po ang mali sa ginagawang desisyon ng ERC. But I know that Mona Lisa and Chairman Mona Lisa and Commissioner Maceda dissented. And as a matter of fact, kung titingnan mo yung kanilang desisyon from 173 billion na magiging opening RAB for fourth regulatory period that was submitted by them, it's much lower than the RAAC or the Royal Asia Appraisal Company that conducted the appraising of all these properties. Dahil sila 173 billion, kayo sa inyong appraise is 162 billion. Am I right?
With respect to the CAPEX, Mr. Chair, so that we don't get
Yes, CAPEX lang.
confused po. Opo. In the CAPEX, actually, the independent consultants recommended a CAPEX of only 24.9 billion, Mr. Chair. So,
CAPEX?
opo, CAPEX po, 24.9 billion. So, but I think the numbers referred to are the CAPEX adopted by the majority, which is 179.3 billion for 2016 for 2022. Yun po yung
Ang
malaki
inadap
pong
po ng
difference
majority,
is 179.3.
are you sure?
Opo. Dun sa final determination.
179. But
Apa.
according sa consultant nyo na nag-appraise ng mga property that will be used on the opening RAB of the fourth regulatory period ay magkano?
Let me check, Mr. Chair, kung ano po yung sa opening RAB. Ibang values po kasi yung sa opening RAB at dun sa CAPEX.
Oh, yes.
We'll check po.
Kasi pumapatak dito sa record ko that the initial determination or the partial initial determination na pinost nyo for the opening RAB, closing and opening RAB is 173.41 billion. Ito'y tumaas ng 196.60 billion para doon sa final determination.
Let me confirm those numbers, Mr. Chair. Yun sa building blocks po kasi yung...
Yes, kasi kung itong partial initial determination was 173.41 billion. So ngayon, ang tanong ko, anong pinagbabasihan ng desisyon noong pagtaas ng almost 23 billion, citing that those project was considered spent, na parang sinasabi natin na ano na yan, kasama na yan sa computation. Don't you think that this is wrong and highly immoral na hindi pa nagagawa yung mga project, hindi pa siya nako-consume, hindi pa siya napapatunayang efficient, binabayaran na siya ng taong bayan?
Yun po yung main difference po namin ng majority, Mr.
Correct.
Chair. As far as the minority is concerned, only the CAPEX amounts that resulted in actual assets. Hindi pa po kasi mo siya mabubuk talaga as assets unless
Correct.
buo na po yung project. So, that's our stand.
Well, yes.
And the majority po, the stand of the majority, at least in the draft final determination, is that basta nagastusan na ni NGCP, pwede na po niya
Hindi pa pwede yun,
i-recover.
Mr. Chairman. Hindi pa pwedeng nagastusan na ng NGCP yung proyekto na hindi naman natin nagagamit yung pinoproduce nilang energy, kinakarga na ng taong bayan. Saan ka naman nakakita na ang tollway ginagawa, pero binabayaran ng tao? That is absurd. That is highly immoral. Did the NGCP applied for this application? I mean, have they applied that these projects that are not yet used and useful be considered as part of the RAB?
Actually, Mr. Chair, yes, they did. In fact, the total value for CAPEX applied for by NGCP was 214.6 billion pesos.
Okay, NGC, why did you apply for this project that are not yet used and useful? There is a universal application that all regulated entity must not charge the consumer with the properties or assets that are not yet used and useful or consumed or not have been found to be efficient yet.
Mr. Chair, begging your indulgence po for the explanation.
Yes, go
Actually, historically, thank you, Mr. Chair. Historically po, the ERC has allowed us on an as-spent basis. Unlike po kasi an ordinary small value good that you pay before you use, these are large infrastructure capital expenditure projects po. Like an ordinary contractor po, pag nagbabayad tayo paggawa po ng bahay, hindi po yan sisingilin ng contractor at the end of the period.
Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You're talking about historical, no?
Yes po.
And that's the reason why we're here.
Yes,
we need
Mr.
to
Chair.
correct
Yes,
the
and-
wrong that was done
Yes, Mr.
by a
Chair.
public utility
Yes.
Na katulad ng NGCP that was given the power as a concessionaire, the utmost priority is the least cost manner, no?
Actually,
in
Mr.
accordance
Chair,
with the EPIRA law.
if
Now,
I
ang
may
sinasabi
explain
mo,
po.
iba yung sinasabi mo na contractor.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I
Ang
may
sinasabi
explain po.
natin dito, hindi pa, Attorney Cynthia, hindi pa tapos yung project.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may
I-charge
explain.
na natin sa taong bayan.
If I may
Naniningil
explain,
tayo. And that's
Mr.
the
Chair.
reason, okay. And that's the reason why I interrupted you.
Yes po.
Kasi ang sinasabi mo, historically, ganun ang ginagawa.
Yes po.
Mona Lisa, is this true?
I will have to differ, Mr. Chair, because historically, if the resets were done
Yes.
prior to the period, then you allow those amounts.
Correct.
But the difference is for this particular reset that we're doing, because there was no reset that
Yes, tama.
that has happened, you cannot do a forecast. Yun nga po yung main difference namin dito. Kaya po ang ni-review namin historical period. And again, Mr. Chair, I'm speaking for the minority kasi
Yes,
nga po,
I know. I understand.
hiwalay. But that's why we cannot do an as-spent approach. Kasi po, alam na natin yung actual na ginastos, alam na natin kung alin yung projects na nagawa lang during that period. How can we still allow an as-spent approach? Hindi mo na yun mako-correct later. Kasi po, dati po, allow mo yung forecast, then you do an annual verification. Ginastos mo ba talaga yung sinabi mong ginastos for this year? Nabuo mo ba yung projects na sabi mong bubuin mo for this year? Pag hindi, may adjustment po yon on an annual
Correct.
basis. But that cannot be done now.
Okay,
Kasi po
naiintindihan ko
tapos
yan,
na.
Mona Lisa.
Thank you
so,
very much.
Sa desisyon nyo, nagbotohan kayo dito. So, ano naging boto?
3-2 po, Mr.
So, kayo ang bumoto na hindi nyo pinapayagan na yung mga proyekto na hindi pa tapos ay mapasama doon sa asset na kung saan regulatory asset base para mapasama doon sa opening RAB para sa port regulatory period. And this entails almost 25 billion na additional para po doon sa ating CAPEX. At kapag nagdagdag tayo ng 25 billion sa CAPEX, magagalaw ang weighted average cost of capital na 10.3. Am I correct? Kasi
Magagalaw po yung
magagalaw siya.
product. Kasi multiplier po si WACC dun sa
Of course.
ano.
And that's the reason why medyo ano ako dito, medyo wary ako doon sa sitwasyon because you have said a while ago that our final determination, which will be released on January 2025, days from now, will be 10.3.
Yung WACC po, wala naman po masyadong issue. But we do have, in the commission, we
Pero,
do have an issue
Mona,
on the CAPEX po.
Dahil nga, nadagdagan yung inyong CAPEX ng 25 billion dahil sinama natin yung mga proyekto na hindi tapos, nasisingilin sa taong bayan. So, yung WACC talaga magiging 10.3. So, para mabawasan ng 10.3, I think we need to consider the evaluation or appraisal of the two consultants that were hired by the ERC. Yung NCL saka Mr. Chairman, I think we need to invite the Royal Asia Appraisal and also the NCL in the next hearing. And at the same time, I'd like to invite those who have voted against this measure, especially bakit kinonsider nila na yung CAPEX na hindi pa tapos yung mga project ay kailangan ng bayaran ng ating mga kababayan.
Okay.
So why
we
they
take note
voted
of
on
that,
this?
okay? Comsec, please take note of the request of the Honorable Dan Fernandez. So they should be invited in the next hearing. You may proceed, Honorable Dan Fernandez.
So in other words, Mr. Chairman, I want to show you a slide, no?
Before that slide, Honorable Dan
Isang
Fernandez.
ano lang to, isang slide lang.
Before that,
Yeah, okay.
few seconds lang. NGCP.
Thank you
were
very
trying
much.
to say something.
Yeah.
I'll make you finish.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, very much.
Ano po yung gusto niyo sabihin bago po yung slide ni Honorable Dan?
Yung sinabi po ni Chair Mona is absolutely correct. There was a regulatory delay in the review of our fourth and fifth regulatory reset process. Now, dapat po nag-umpisa yung review na yan for the fourth reg in 2014 or thereabouts, pero hindi po nagawa. Under the credit of Chair Mona talagang in-expedite na yon. However, the rules in place at that time po were may particular rules po na sinasabi tayo na pinapayagan po ang NGCP na ganun po yung regulatory framework na unti-unti pong sinisingil para hindi po mabulunan ng consumer pagdating sa dulo at bulto na po yung babayaran para sa mga proyekto. Number one po yun. Pangalawa po, kada proyekto po namin, ina-apply po namin sa ERC at kasama po doon yung ganong klaseng framework. Pangatlo po, yung pagbabago ng mga rules na minention po ni Chair Mona, that's a rule setting issue, that was done after the expenditures were incurred. So nung panahon po patuloy ho ang trabaho ng NGCP bagamat wala ho kaming regulatory reset process. Ang sinundan ho namin yung huling approved rules na wala ho kaming choice kasi nga po hindi po naumpisahan yung pagpataw ng bagong rules. Kaya po ginamit namin yung dating rules at humingi po kami ng interim revenue scheme para ho patuloy yung trabaho ng NGCP. Kung hindi po namin ginawa yun, ang mangyayari ho, wala hong magiging magpapatakbo ho sa negosyo. Kaya again po, it is what it is. Nag-delay na po talaga ng almost more than 10 years, around 10 years ang regulatory reset process. Kaya naman ho, nagkakaroon ho ng usapan sa ERC at threshold ho namin yung position nila. At of course, NGCP rin po, meron rin kaming posisyon na sinunod lang ho namin yung mga regulasyon na in place at that time. And ang position ho namin, the retroactive application of the rules after the expenditures were made may not be fair on the business po.
ERC Malanta response because I think she's talking about they were just following. She was basically what she was saying. NGCP was saying was they were just following what the rules dictated. So please respond.
Sige po. Baka po I will explain po the reasoning of ERC. The regulatory reset rules po apply for a particular regulatory period. Paglampas po nung regulatory period na yon, meron talagang vacuum in the law. Kasi po, hindi na siya dapat talaga nag-a-apply doon. That's why when we issued in 2022, the rules that will apply for that period wherein wala pong naging rules, sabi namin, tapos na yan, we will apply the historical cost. Na may record naman po yung komisyon, may record din naman pong sinubmit si NGCP. So hindi po, para sa amin, hindi po ito issue ng retroactive rate making because there were no, or retroactive rule making or rate making kasi nga po, klaro na ang regulatory period may specific set of rules po siya. Ngayon, tama naman po din yung punto ni NGCP na hindi po kasi naglabas yung ERC ng rules po dati. Tama po yon. Kaya lang po, sabi na nga rin po, we are where we are, kaya po gawin na lang natin kung ano po yung kaya po nating gawin ngayon. Pero dun sa punto po na sinusunod lang po yung, kahit po sundan natin yung punto nila na sinusunod lang nila yung dating rules, meron din po tayong listahan ng mga projects na dapat ay nakasama na-complete nung third RP kasi po at sinisingil na sa atin na hindi pa rin po nakompleto. So, meron din pong, siguro po, meron mang pagkukulang yung ERC, may pagkukulang din po talaga din si NGCP kasi po, meron siyang naaprubahang mga proyekto, sinisingil na sa atin, pero hindi pa rin po talaga nila, hindi pa rin po nga nasimula.
Yusek Sharon Garin.
Can we get
Before
Mr. Chair?
NGCP.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just short lang. I just wanted to get more details on the statement issued by
Chairman
Chairman Di Malanta.
ERC Chair, can we have a list
Kasi may mga binabanggit kayo mga na-delay
We'll submit
na. So, can you submit it to us?
Please submit the details.
Apo.
Kailan, anong project, kailan dapat tapos, at bakit hindi pa complete up to now. The Honorable Sharon Garin, our former Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chair, just on a general picture lang. This is a table that we have done prior to the reset, no? But at that stage, NGCP had 227 projects under the transmission development plan natin. Iba tapos na, iba hindi pa. Now, out of the 227 at that time, there were 111 approved by ERC. Iba dyan na complete, iba ongoing. Now, out of the 111, out of the 111, 83 on our record, and 6 plus 7,
Delayed.
completed siya, no? 83 ba to? Tama. 7 plus 6. 13. 83. 83 completed na siya at that time. But out of that 83 completed, 77 ang delayed. And out of that 111, yung remaining nun na ongoing pa rin, there are 27 projects. Ang within schedule lang at that time, isa lang. 26 ang delayed. Just as a perspective, iba naman yung perspective on the computation, ano. Pero, out of these projects, for example, isa yun yung Luzon Loop. Na-approve na yun mga 20, I'm not sure, maybe ERC can be more specific on that, 27 or 2019, ano. Nacha-charge na yan eh. Nacha-charge na yun sa mga consumers natin eh. It was approved already. Delayed ng delayed. Now, why is there a delay? Kasi minumove din nila yung schedule nila eh. Ang TDP kasi dapat yan ideally every year or regular ang ano. Kaya lang every formulation naman ng TDP na pinapasa sa DOE. Recent na kami naka-review eh, kasi recent lang kami nag-umpisa on this administration. Minumove din yung target date ng completion. Halimbawa, yung Hermosa San Jose na yan, yung isang major natin, mga 8 beses na yan na delay, na move every time, every year ginagalaw. Or the Mindanao Visayas connection, yan, ilang beses din yan minumove yung ano. Kaya moving target din siya. So it affects also the calculation,
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Ano, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you very much, Yusek Sharon
Chair.
Garin of the Department of Energy.
Yes.
So can we have a list of that data?
Mr. Chairman, the
Going
reason...
back to, I think the Honorable, the Honorable Dan Fernandez, si Honorable J.G. Suarez requested from a list from ERC. May we also have a list, as you have stated earlier, the project, the delay, and the cost of delay. Thank you very much. The Honorable Dan
Mr. Chairman,
Fernandez is recognized.
bakit tayo nadidelay sa project ng mga NGCP? Tama yung sinasabi ni Yusek Sharon Garin eh. Move sila ng time of completion. Umaabot ng 8-10 years yung mga projects. Why? Eh kasi, according sa NGCP audited financial statements, NGCP na mismo to, mula 2009 hanggang 2018 pa lang, Mr. Chairman, ang kanilang payout sa kanilang mga dividends is 91%. Kung kumita sila ng 205 billion at 928 million ang kinita nila, net income from 2009 to 2018, 187 billion goes to cash dividend. Eh kung may cash dividend yan, pumunta sa mga shareholder yan, paano yun yung project? That's the reason. Kaya tama si Yusek Sharon Garin. Madidelay talaga. I-move ng NGCP yung mga kanilang completion date para ma-accommodate nila yung kita nila. Hindi sila nagbibigay ng malaking pondo para sa mga proyekto. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng deficiency sa energy because of the delay of the projects. Now, delayed na nga yung project. Tapos ipakakarga mo sa taong bayan? Pakakarga nyo sa taong bayan yung mga hindi nyo natatapos ng mga proyekto? Is that correct?
NGCP.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
I think the question, not only is it correct, is it fair? Is it just?
Again, Mr. Chair, these are large capex projects. For example, po, no, just to because of the delay in the final determination, one of the largest tickets, I'll just mention two po, in Cebu Negros Panay, that cost NGCP 72 billion. However, we are only allocated 144 billion allowed to be recovered. So that's less than 1% recovery. Another large ticket project, the Hermosa San Jose, 21 billion po ang cost niyan. However, we were only
Mr.
allowed
Chairman, this is a deception.
May I finish,
This is
Mr.
a
Chair?
deception. Alam niyo yung sinasabi nito si Atty. Cynthia is for us to be confused. Ang sinasabi natin, yung mga project, tapusin nyo, saka namin babayaran.
Yun
Ang
nga, Mr.
sinasabi
Chair.
nyo, 100 billion, hindi kayo inapruban. Dahil hindi nyo tinatapos ang proyekto.
Tapos na po
That's
siya,
the reason
Mr. Chair.
why. Mr. Chairman, this has been so for so many years. Ganyan ang policy ng NGCP.
Yeah.
And they are in violation. At ina-abuse po nila yung authority that was given to this committee. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, yung pong napakasimple ng tinatanong natin sa kanila. Tapusin nyo project, maging use and useful siya, mag-commission siya, then, the taong bayan, babayaran yan.
Yeah.
Yung
Mr.
tanong
Chair.
simple.
Honorable,
Now,
yes.
ang
Yeah,
tanong,
Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Chairman, why did the ERC decided, the majority, ilan ba majority nyo? Tatlo?
Yes.
They have decided
Three
na
out of
isama as spent or isama yung mga project na hindi tapos, isama doon po sa babayaran ng taong bayan.
Thank you.
Yun ang ating tinatanong dito, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
So I think the Honorable Dan Fernandez is still going back. We understand that the CAPEX, no, we will have to really go straight to the point. And the
Yes,
answer
po.
really is it just and fair to really impose and ask the consumers to pay for something that is still not operating? I think that's a statement.
Mr. Chair, our statement is for those two projects I was mentioning, if I had been allowed to finish, those are actually commissioned, completed, and were in fact this year inaugurated by the President of the Philippines himself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes
Yeah.
po, and those po, again, more than 100 billion po ang cost ng mga projects na yun.
Correct.
Yet our recovery for that is less than 1%. So it's, what my point po here in saying po, it may not entirely be accurate that in all cases, NGCP is collecting for projects that are not yet useful or being
But
used.
how can you, Attorney, how can you say that when, I mean, ERC has already stated that's what you're doing.
My point lang, Mr. Chair, is that
Okay, fine, you completed some of your
Yes,
projects.
correct
no?
po.
Pero, ang inano nga ni Congressman Dan Fernandez, tsaka substantiated ng ating resource persons na you're collecting even though hindi tapos.
Again,
At yan ay pinapasa sa taong bayan. Doon ho lang muna tayo
sige
umikot
po.
ho sa usapan. Huwag mo natin pag-usapan, dumating ho si Presidente, huwag mo natin
Sige po.
pag-usapan ho. Diyan ho muna
Ang
tayo.
punto po namin doon is yan po yung dinatnan naming patakaran nung pumasok po ka sa negosyo. Ngayon po, yan po yung pinapasok namin na nung nagkaroon po ng fourth regulatory period, wala pong reset na nangyari, wala pong rules. Kaya ang in-apply po ng NGCP, yung huling inaprubahan ng ERC na rules, which was for the third regulatory period. And under those rules po, ito po talaga forward-looking and allowed po yung mga action ng NGCP. Hindi ho maaaring mag-charge ang NGCP or kumilos ng kahit ano po, nang walang pahintulot ng ERC. So, nung 2016 at hindi po naaprubahan po yung fourth regulatory period, wala ho kaming choice kung di apply yung dating rules. And yung actions po ni NGCP under those rules were allowed. So yun po ang punto namin, na hindi ho namin ginusto na hindi magkaroon ng regulatory reset noong 2016 onwards. In fact po, nung hindi na ilabas ng ERC yung issues paper, at that time, kami na ho ang naglabas kasi gusto ho namin talagang magkaroon ng reset process. Nung hindi pa rin ho lumabas at hindi na-conduct, wala ho kaming choice kundi ipagpatuloy yung negosyo at serbisyo under the old rules.
So, sinasabi nyo, hindi nyo man sinasagot kung ito fair at saka just. Basta sinasabi nyo lang, itong rules. At
Yes
yan ang
po.
ginagawa
Kasi
nyo.
po, yung fair and justness,
Klaro na po tayo dyan,
opo,
attorney.
would be
Okay?
on the
Klaro na
ERC.
po tayo dyan. Okay, yan ang inyong punto de vista po dyan, attorney, na I think ERC, this was allowed by ERC. So, why are they...
Looking forward kasi tayo. May rules.
Is that really... Okay, Bishop shaking your head. Attorney Di Balanta, can you please explain, was this allowed or not?
Mr. Chair, I don't think it's accurate to say it was allowed by ERC because one, there were no rules. I think recognized naman po din ng NGCP that there were no rules after the third regulatory period had lapsed. Walang rules po nun. Sabi nila, nag-file po ng issues paper at that time ang NGCP. Siguro po that demonstrates really the desire of NGCP to have a reset. But it doesn't cure the fact that there were no rules at the time. Kaya po nung 2020, and in fact, I'm checking po if they applied for an interim MAR. Because in 2020, they applied for an interim rate. It's a recognition that there were no valid issued approved rates from 2016 all the way to 2020. Kaya po sila nag-apply ng interim. But when the Commission issued also its decision on that interim MAR, clear naman po na interim siya. So hindi po siya in any way a recognition na tama yung ginagawa ninyo, kung yun man po yung ginagawa po niya. Because klaro po na kailangan may full reset bago po magkaroon ng tamang rates ang NGCP. So, medyo reserve lang po ako at the time. I wasn't part of the commission at the time, but I think kaya po interim lang yung pinasa ng commission because it's all subject to a full reset.
Thank you very much, ERC Chair Di Malanta. So, that answers the question, or that ERC is now saying that my understanding is that even though there are no rules, mali pa rin ang NGCP. Tama po ba yan?
Klaro po na whatever was happening at that time, whatever was issued, was only an interim arrangement. It wasn't a validation that what they were doing was correct and was upheld by ERC.
Yeah, but what rule will they follow kung it's an interim
Klaro
rule?
naman po na dapat po naglabas din yung ERC. Kaya po medyo hirap po akong kasi po, klaro naman po dapat naglabas yung ERC noon. But I think it was also recognized that there were that the interim that was issued that they applied for in 2020, I think they applied also back in 2015, but it was not acted upon, I'm not sure po, that it was only an interim arrangement. So hindi po siya final rules. It's all subject to the final action in a reset.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Meaning, Mr. Chairman, with that, Chairman Mona Lisa Di Malanta, I still remember, during the time on 18th Congress, I filed a resolution questioning that interim MAR that was approved by the former commissions, former chairperson, together with the with commissioner. I think that was a 53 billion increase on the if I'm not mistaken, kasi ako nag-file nung resolution na yon. We investigated that issue, and that 53 billion was an interim. And during that time, it was pandemic. I question the validity of that increase. And what you're trying to say right now, that interim will be acted upon by the...
No, Mr. Chair. What I'm saying is that interim was interim only and a recognition that there will be a reset, which is where we are now.
And that's the reason why, kung merong excess doon sa paniningil sa taong bayan, i-refund yon at mapapasama yon doon sa susunod na regulatory period.
Depende po sa outcome po ng
Okay.
reset.
Now I understand. And that's the reason why, yan ang sinasabi natin, kahit anong gawin nyo, darating ang panahon, nasisingilin kayo ng pagkakataon. Huwag natin sabihin na maaayos natin ang mga ERC commissioner. Tapos, hahabulin kayo At ibabalik nyo ang pera sa taong bayan. Mr. Chairman, gusto ko lang ipakita tong small lang.
Okay, the Honorable Dan Fernandez has the floor. Silence is requested.
Kasi ganito ang magiging repercussion yan.
Please present the slide But before that, the chair would like to recognize the Honorable Jay Kong Hoon of the 1st District of Zambales. They're on Zoom. The Honorable Paulo Ortega of the 1st District of La Union, and the Honorable Amparo Maria Zamora, 2nd District of Taguig.
Mr. Chairman,
welcome to the hearing.
Ito kasing
The Honorable Fernandez.
pakikita ko sa inyo is kinomission kasi ng ERC yung RAAC, yung Royal Asia Appraisal Company, and yung NCL. So kung gagamitin natin yung appraise nila doon sa mga project nila, kasi nagdesisyon sila noong September 2023. Nagdesisyon ang ERC together with lahat sila nagdesisyon. Pati na yung mga lahat sila na sinasabi, 8.37 billion ang gagamitin natin para doon sa yung mga na-appraise na mga project. Pero nitong August 2024, nagdesisyon sila na ang gamitin ay yung dinisisyonan ng ERC na kung saan si Chairman Mona Lisa de Malanta at si Commissioner Maceda dissented. Sabi nila hindi pa pwede na yung hindi pa natin ginagamit ng mga project ikakarga na sa taong bayan. They dissented. Pero natalo sila sa desisyon. Majority wins kumbaga sa ERC. So ngayon, ang gagamitin po natin sa August 2024, instead na 8.37 billion doon sa ating pong CAPEX is 15 billion noong 2016. Ganon din sa 2017, 3.4 billion instead na 3.4 billion, 20.71 billion. Pagdating ng 2018, 1.58 billion, magiging 27 billion, and so forth and so forth. 2019, 1.13, magiging 31. Sa 2020, ganon din, 647 million, magiging 33 billion. In other words, Mr. Chairman, sa desisyon ng majority, na yung pong mga projects will be part noong pong kanilang opening report regulatory period. That is, I think, unfair sa ating pong mga kababayan. And that's the reason why ako, personally, tutol na tutol po dahil dito. And I agree with the decision of the Commissioner, of Chairman Di Malanta and Commissioner Maceda on dissenting on this issue. Of course, this is the power of the franchise committee. The oversight power that we have. Diba? Although they have decided it's a constitutional body, but the power of oversight is within this committee. And we can still review that provision of spent na sinasabi ng majority na kailangan bayaran na ng taong bayan yan. Ako, I totally disagree with this, Mr. Chairman. Even the 3 commissioners have voted on this issue. I personally think that this is something that we have to really look into deeper, Mr. Chairman. But, tapos na po ako sa isyong ito. Meron po akong another issue that wanted this representation to tackle as well. Pwede po ba?
Maybe, is it connected to your first issue, or would you like the Honorable J.J. Suarez first to go on with this?
Mr. Chairman, ito naman po ay may kinalaman po sa kasi we have to invite also siguro yung mga involved dito, yung RAAC, yung NCL,
correct,
the whole commission, and NGCP, the owner of the NGCP must be invited as well in order to shed light on this matter. Kasi medyo masyado pong detrimental to sa taong bayan Imagine 25 billion po ang dadagdag mo sa CAPEX lang yan It will affect the final determination that will be released by the ERC on January 2025. Nag-release
Mr.
po
Chair,
siguro.
just to...
Can you please be clear? How would the 25 billion affect the whole thing? As far as the prices, it will go up, I suppose?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, Mr. Chair, just to clarify that the Commission is yet to finalize the final determination because we have just received the comments. So we will still sit as a body to adopt and finalize. So there is still a chance for the majority to perhaps change
their
its
minds. Yeah.
But the difference in terms po of impact on consumers, if the majority position, if the as spent position were upheld, it will result in an increase of transmission rates by at least 12 centavos for over a 12-month period. If the position of the minority, if the as completed will be adopted, there will actually be a refund of more than 1 peso for the next 12 months, which means
Laki.
ganun po kalaki po
Yung
Mr.
yung
Chair.
12 centavos, what is the percentage of that? Can we talk of percentages? If it's 12 centavos, is there a percentage increase?
Hindi po,
That-
it's per kilowatt hour po.
Okay.
So per kilowatt hour, 12 centavos per kilowatt hour. For the as completed position, it's a refund of more than 1 peso per kilowatt hour over the next 12 months.
That's huge.
Mr. Chair.
That's huge. Okay, that's
Chairman.
clear. Okay, the Honorable, so it's either magtataas ng 12 centavos per kilowatt or magre-refund ng piso. Okay, bago tayo
Chairman.
dyan. Yan ang pag-uusapan natin sa susunod. The Honorable J.J. Suarez.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just a point of clarification. Earlier, DOE mentioned that there are 227 projects that were approved. Of the 227, 111 were approved, 83 completed, although 77 are delayed. And then there are still a few more na hindi pa po nagagawa. Gusto ko lang po malaman, base po dito sa performance ng mga projects na ito na dapat nakakapagpakuryente na sa ating mga laylayan, may sinabi po si Congressman Dan kanina na itong mga proyekto nito, maski hindi pa po pinakikinabangan, ay binabayaran na po ng taong bayan. Can you confirm this?
Meron pong, hindi naman po lahat, meron pong mga delayed projects po kasi based on our data, the third RP, for example, this is the last approved regulatory period po for NGCP 2011 to 2015. There were 65 projects included. 6 po doon, ongoing pa din, meaning hindi pa rin po tapos. 3 po doon, based on our analysis, walang data kung kailan ba nagsimula or kailan matatapos. So ito pong mga projects na to, kasama na po sa allowed revenue ni NGCP and sinisingil na po niya since
Okay, teka lang ma'am.
2011.
Ito lang kasi baka hindi maintindihan ng taong bayan. Bakit sila naniningil sa isang proyektong hindi pa pinakikinabangan ng tao?
Apa.
Kasi common sense would dictate you pay for service. But dito, wala pang service, binabayaran mo na. So anong logic doon?
Apo. Yun po kasing sistema po, yung regulatory framework governing transmission and distribution, supposed to be forward-looking po yan.
Precisely.
Sasubmit po nila yung mga plano nilang proyekto over the next 5 years, may budget po sila doon, bibigyan po sila ng authority to collect based on an annual breakdown of the approved budget. So, technically, pwede po under the current framework na kahit hindi pa sila tapos, nakakapaningil silang unti-unti.
Hindi, but ako ma'am, ang position ko, hindi pwede yon. Kasi, unang-una, hindi naman nalulugi yung NGCP. Paano mo naman masasabi na nalulugi yung NGCP? Mr. Chair, if I may, no? Tignan mo ha.
Deputy Speaker.
NGCP, this is data that I got from the Senate. I'll just go through it. 2014, ang income po ninyo, 22 billion. 2015, ang income po ng NGCP, 22 billion. 2017, ang income po ng NGCP, 20.6 billion. 2019, 20 billion. 2020, 23 billion, 2021, 23 billion, 2022, 34 billion, 2023, 23 billion. So billion-billion po yung kinikita ng NGCP. So hindi nyo po pwedeng masabi sa akin na nalulugi kayo kaya kailangan nyo po yung ganitong pagpasa ng pambayad sa mga consumers, sa mga proyektong hindi nyo pa pinakikinabangan. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, dito sa kinikita ninyo, bakit napakalaki yata ng dividendo na binibigay nyo sa mga shareholders ninyo? Like for example, in 2014, your net income was 22 billion. However, the dividends you provided to your shareholders was 24 billion. In 2015, your income was 22 billion, but the dividends, 21 billion, 93%. 20 billion, 19 billion ang dividends ninyo. 2019, 20 billion ang kinita ninyo, 15 billion ang dividends. 2020, 23 billion ang kinita ninyo, 12 billion ang dividends. 2021, 23 billion ang kinita ninyo, 12 billion ang dividends. 2022, 34 billion, 12 billion ang dividends. 2023, 23 billion ang kinita ninyo, 12 billion ang dividends. Shouldn't you be allocating more for development of new sites, expanding your service, improving your service, rather than ensuring that your shareholders get a larger pie of your income?
May we respond, Mr. Chair? Yeah, Mr. Chair, yung funding ho for projects doesn't come just from internally generated cash. So the dividends mentioned come from retained earnings. So that isn't exactly, with all due respect to how it works, that your dividends will be necessarily from your earnings. That's not how things are done po.
No,
Second
but
po,
insofar as you're able to
Yeah.
give billions in dividends,
yes, Mr. Chair.
that means your company is earning billions, correct?
If I may, Mr. Chair, proceed. Yung funding capex po was never put at risk even with the distribution of dividends. Our capex, again, is approved by the ERC. So we are only spending exactly how much we're allowed to spend. And in fact po, if you look at the historical data, NGCP has outspent government 5:1. So in terms of yung obligasyon ho namin na gumastos at paunlarin ho ang transmission
ma'am,
grid,
question.
nagawa po yun.
Mr. Chair.
Attorney.
Mr. Chairman, are there parameters on that?
Why?
That the,
The Honorable Dan Fernandez.
parang,
Mr. Chair.
Attorney, the Honorable Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez has the floor.
I think that's an unfair statement to say that we're actually spending more than government. Siyempre, trabaho niyo yun eh.
Yes, exactly po.
So don't compare it to government. Don't compare it to government spending because you are supposed to be establishing those transmission lines to begin with. So don't say that you're spending more than government.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
That's like-
It just underlines po, Mr. Chair, and I apologize if it came across as
No,
different.
that's an unfair statement because that responsibility was given to NGCP
Yes.
under the franchise that was provided to you.
And we have fulfilled that responsibility, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
I don't think
In fact, we have spent 182 billion between 2016 and 2022. So meron ho talaga kaming inilalabas. Kasi kung hindi po kami maggagastos, wala hong matatapos na proyekto.
Attorney, alam nyo po,
Question lang, Mr.
very
Chair.
relevant po ang sinabi nyong na fulfill niyo yung obligasyon nyo. Because right now, a lot of projects have not been completed. You've been fined 10 times over for them. And you cannot categorically tell us in this committee, straight in our face, that the mandate has been fulfilled. Because kaya nga ako yung napafine eh. So parang kung may disconnect ho yung statement nyo at saka yung nangyayari po talaga sa incumbent Deputy Speaker to a former Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Yusek Sharon Garin.
So, Chair, just another perspective to that. If according to based on the NGCP audited financial statements, the total revenue is 663 billion in the past 14 years. The average annual net income is 22.52 billion, and the average annual dividends, as per financial statements, is 16.86 billion, while the total net income is 315 billion, and the total dividends is 236 billion. Ang capex nila, as of that financial statement, is 237.8 billion and total loan is 237.6 billion. Based on the report of Transco na annual report, the total transmission asset is 544 billion compared to the above figures, and the total revenue of NGCP in the past 14 years is 663 billion. Therefore, it has exceeded the valuation with the total transmission asset of Transco of 544 billion. The total concession fee paid by NGCP in the past 16 years is 203.62 billion. That has been overtaken by the total dividends received by its owners of 236, mas mataas pa yung dividends, 236 billion. So with 10 more years under concession agreement, from the point of view of the investors, these numbers are very, very good, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So in other words,
Sharon Garin. The Honorable Dan Fernandez is recognized.
So in other words, Mr. Chairman, kasi yung concession fees po nila, no, na babayaran nila in 20 years, 168.9 billion yung kanilang kontrata. Pero yung kinita nila, ang laki-laki na po. At ang totoo dito, yung wealth that is transferred by Transco to NGCP is not even shared to the public. Alam niyo, Mr. Chairman, in accordance with Section 8 of Republic Act 9511, sinasabi dyan that the grantee, the NGCP, shall list subject to the requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the PSE and make a public offering of the shares representing at least 20% of its outstanding capital stock. Alam mo, Mr. Chairman, ang sinasabi po ng batas natin sa Republic Act 9511, Section 8, dapat yung at least 20% ng NGCP are being open or offer to the public. Pero, Mr. Chairman, I have so many questions about this issue wherein indeed, the NGCP offered to the public its 20% share in accordance with the provision of Section 8 of Republic Act 9511. Mr. Chairman, we all know that ang breakdown ng ating pong NGCP, 40% yan is owned by the China Grid Corporation. And 30% is owned by Monte Oro Grid Corporation. And 30% is owned by the Kalaka. The NGCP applied, no? Kasi sabi ng batas, 10 years 10 years kailangan bago mag-expired. Simula sila ng 2009, January. Dapat nung January 15, 2019, dapat nakapag-offer na sila sa public nung share na sinabi ng batas, 20%. Pero, Mr. Chairman, sa nabasa ko sa website, no, na nakuha ko sa ERC, and try to find out sa website ng NGCP, yung public offering, no, wala po ako nakita, kundi, ang nakita ko is share, swap. Ano ba yung share, swap? Ang share swap, ang nag-uusap, yung iba-ibang, yung mga kumpanya na listed sa Philippine Stock Exchange, at sila nag-uusap para makapag-comply doon sa sinasabi nating requirements ng Section 8 ng Republic Act 9511. But, there is a legal question in here. Because, hindi po nagkaroon ng tunay na public offering.
Correct.
In accordance with Section 8 of Republic Act 9511, kundi nagkaroon ng private transaction between NGCP and the Synergy Grid Corporation, which is still owned by those people who owned NGCP. At, Mr. Chairman, I have found out, no, na ito pong 60% na pag-aari po ng NGCP, no, dalawang kumpanya may-ari niyan, yung pong Monte Oro, which is owned by the One Taipan Holding Corporation, which is owned by Henry C. and Robert Coyuto, at doon sa Kalaka naman, na siya may-ari doon sa NGCP, owned by the Pacific 21, which is 100% owned by the SGP. Now, Mr. Chairman, having said that, sila may-ari ng 60% ng NGCP, nag-offer sila sa public. Pero ang bumili, Synergy, na sila yung may-ari. Now, ang tanong, ERC. I know hindi mo pa panahon to. Ang desisyon na to ay nabasa ko na ang desisyon. About last night when I was reading this decision that was dissented by Commissioner Maceda, no, and approved by the majority, no, ay instead of relying on the final order ordering the NGCP to proceed with the IPO within 6 months, kasi nag-motion for reconsideration pa sila doon eh. Now, ang tanong ko sa iyo, Mona, have you encountered this issue even though na hindi pa ikaw ang chairperson during that time? Can you
Chair Di Malanta,
explore on this issue?
Please reply. I think what he's talking about, it's clear. The obligation to sell off a portion of the shares, and the Honorable Fernandez is now saying that it was not done in accordance with what the law requires. Please reply.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I encountered it when we started talking about the reset, Mr. Chair, because
Yes.
part of the reset is to review the compliance of NGCP with all its obligations, and that's when I was advised that I think in 2021, I'm just trying to get the exact dates po, Mr. Chair. In 2021, the ERC allowed or accepted the share swap as an indirect compliance with the public offering requirement in Section 8 of the franchise of NGCP. So I did ask whether this is already in compliance, because the law requires a listing of its shares, of NGCP shares. But this one is complying with it indirectly with the listing of Synergy. Synergy po yung listed company. So, but I understand that the ERC allowed it back in 2021. Di ko lang po alam yung exact.
When you say they allowed it, in what form did they allow it? Was there a resolution? Was there a...
There was a compliance filed by NGCP and there was an issuance. I'm just not sure if it's an order or decision.
But in your opinion, you're a respected lawyer, a distinguished lawyer, a practicing lawyer. Is that in compliance?
I have my questions po, because the franchise is clear when it says its shares, meaning the franchise holder shares, and these are not the shares of NGCP itself that were listed.
But shares of?
Shares of the parent that are listed. So,
which is in violation.
Which does not comply with listing of its shares. But this is a requirement under their franchise, so I defer this to the
That's right. That's something
committee.
that we will take, we will have to study, no? And NGCP, are you compliant?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chair Mona, for mentioning Section 8 of our franchise. But I draw everyone's attention po to the second part of that provision that clearly states that, and I quote, provided that the listing in the PSE of any company which directly or indirectly owns or controls at least 30% of the outstanding shares of stock of the grantee shall be considered full compliance. So because there was a follow-on offering of SGP, which owns part of NGCP that is compliant po under 9511. I understand that what you are quoting, that's the first part po, that's the general rule. But there is an option for an indirect listing, which we did, I think in 2022 or thereabouts, after seeking approval to ensure that the company that does the follow-on offering will comply with the 30% requirement under Section 8. So just a clarification, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
We take note of that. And maybe in the subject, in the amendments in the future, that's something that we should look at, because I think it's only NGCP that has that provision.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, I believe on what Attorney Cynthia were mentioning a while ago, that that is provided under the law, Section 8 of the Republic Act 9511. But you deceived the ARC precisely when you applied for IPO sa ERC. You never mentioned about the share swap. Have you mentioned the share swap prior to the motion for clarification? Prior to motion for clarification that was applied by the NGCP. Have you mentioned the share swap?
Mr.
Yes,
Please answer that.
Yes or no muna?
No.
Yeah,
It
I can
cannot be
answer
answered
yes
po
or
by
no.
a yes or no.
Para po tayo
Because
klaro.
the shares...
No, wait. Attorney Cynthia, ang tinatanong ko, prior to the application of motion for clarification of the final order that was made by the ERC on the list of IPO within 6 months, did you mention the share swap?
I cannot answer, Mr. Chair, because I don't
You did
know
not.
what the motion for clarification
You did
is.
not.
And if I may explain, Mr. Chair, the share
proceed.
swap was to ensure the 30% compliance. Because had we not done the share swap, then SGP may not make that 30% compliance requirement.
Yes.
Now, after po the share swap, yung SGP po, ang follow-on offering, there was no IPO, it was a follow-on offering. And because of the share swap with SGP, naging compliant ngayon po yung follow-on offering with Section 8. Without the share swap, hindi po magiging compliant.
Yes, but wait, Attorney Cynthia. Yung share swap na sinasabi natin dito, who owns the SGP na nakabili doon sa NGCP na 60% owned by Monte Oro and Calaca?
SGP is owned po, SGP owns part of NGCP.
Sino nga may-ari?
Now, yung structuring
Sino nga
po,
may-ari
if
ng
I may...
NGCP? Ng SGP? Ng Synergy? Sino?
I will get back to you on that. I don't have the documents on that, Mr. Chair.
Hindi nyo alam taga-NGCP kayo? Sino
NGCP po, we're talking about SGP. I'm not part of SGP po.
Ng Synergy?
Again, I don't have the documents with me, Mr.
mo
Chair,
alam?
but we will...
Hindi
po
mo
ako
alam?
taga-SGP po.
Hindi mo alam
NGCP
na
po
may-ari
ako.
ng 38.94% is
I
NDC?
don't have the documents, Mr. Chair, right
Na-post mo?
now. I cannot confirm that
Ito,
because
papakonfirm ko sa'yo. Pakita
then
natin.
we would be
Pakikita ko
okay
sa'yo
po
para
with
malaman mo na
if we have
post mo may-ari.
copies of that.
Na nakabili ng share ng NGCP ay kayo din mismo.
Again, yun naman po ay
Show the-
follow-on offering. Even though po ang may-ari ng SGP, that was offered to the public.
38.94% owned by Henry C. Jr. 38.94% is owned by Robert Coyuto. That is 77.88% owned by them na binili ang NGCP. PCD Nominee Corporation, 13.32%. PCD Nominee Corporation, non-Filipino, 7.43%. 77.88% plus 20.75%, that is 98.63%. In other words, kayo ang bumili sa NGCP at ang natira para sa taong bayan is 1.37%, which is in violation of Section 8 of Republic Act 9511. That I want you to know, na ang nakabili ng share na dapat ay sa public ay ang boss mo mismo.
Mr. Chair, the requirement is for a public offering, and that was done. Now, we cannot, if whoever purchases from the open market, that's a market.
Is it moral?
Again, Mr. Chair.
I'm asking you, it is moral to buy your own? Ikaw bibili. Kaya ang ginawa ninyo hindi nyo nga sinabi yung share swap doon sa discussion ng ERC Ang ginawa
It wasn't
ninyo,
a share
nag-motion
swap po.
kayo for clarification, clarifying the decision of the final order to proceed with the IPO within 6 months. You deceived, as a matter of fact. Si Mr. Francisco, yung inyong consultant who testified in the ERC, even manifested that you have an ongoing discussion starting no November 2019. Pinag-uusapan nyo na po yung IPO. But then suddenly, sa motion for clarification, na instead, na sundin nyo yung final order, you have injected a amendment on the decision of the motion for reconsideration. Mr. Chairman, I think nakikita po natin dito that they abuse the power that was given to them. The franchise that we have given to NGCP was really abused by them. Isa pa lamang to, Mr. Chairman. And for that, Mr. Chairman, this representation wanted to invite yung mga may-ari nung nakabili nung share ng NGCP. Dito si Henry C. Jr., imbitahan po natin si Mr. Robert Cuyuto, at imbitahan din natin itong PCD Nominee Corporation na Pilipino at PCD Nominee Corporation non-Pilipino dahil sila po ay nagko-comprise ng 98% ownership na instead na public ang nakinabang, taong bayan, because very essence of putting the public utilities sa IPO, sa public offering, because ito po entails economic development. It entails transparency and efficiency of the public utilities. Ang mga water concessionaire natin, binigyan po natin sila ng concession. Dahil yun po ang ating intention na maging transparent at ma-involve ang ating pong mga kababayan. Unfortunately, ang ginawa po ng NGCP, yung kanilang supposedly compliance with Section 8 of Republic Act 9511, nakbackdoor sila. Na imbis na ibenta sa taong bayan, sila mismo ang bumili, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable
I have another one issue,
Dan
Mr. Chairman.
Fernandez. We will have asked them. We will give you ample rest, okay, to be able to get your third point across.
Mr. Chair.
For NGCP, I think I'm sure you have an answer to that, no? But you just have to raise it, yes, in paper. I think it's very clear that I think the point of the Honorable Dan Fernandez is that to the public. So question, and it's 20% of the entire pie, not only 20% of a portion of. So now I think he's now saying that that was not done. Now, ergo, it has violated the very essence of this franchise granted to you by Congress. The Honorable Deputy Speaker, J.J. Swan.
Is so that the public will have a chance to have ownership and say over a public utility. Yun yung intention nung Section 8 na yon. Kasi taong bayan makikinabang, taong bayan magbabayad, so dapat maski papano may boses. Ayon sa sinabi ni Congressman Dan Fernandez, yung public offering po ng NGCP, sila din po ang bumili sa sarili nilang shares. So that in itself is a violation of the intent of Section 8. Now, question, NGCP. Ma'am, question lang po dito sa SGP. So, you mentioned earlier that you complied because SGP bought into NGCP. Is this correct?
Mr. Chair, we just reserve the right po to answer the questions of the committee in a position paper po.
No, but you mentioned earlier that you complied. You felt that you were compliant because SGP bought the public offerings, no?
Sorry. Mr. Chair, our previous statements, we will all summarize in a position paper na lang for clarity po.
Can I just ask, does SGP, does it have voting authority?
Mr. Chair, so that we can answer intelligently and with completeness, we will take note of all the questions of the committee and submit answers to the same in a position paper po.
So we don't know whether or not SGP has voting authority.
If you're going to make that position for every question that's going to be asked of you, then how do we proceed?
Mr. Chair, our understanding was that this was a La Nina briefing. Had we known that these things would have been taken up, then we would have better prepared. But these are matters that we can thresh out fully if given the proper time.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think we're still in line with the briefing because remember, we're talking about performance.
Correct.
And how NGCP addresses performance. And NGCP, the very basis of your performance is your franchise.
But Mr.
So,
sorry.
there is nothing wrong if we look into your performance because the very bedrock of your performance is the franchise that has been awarded to you by government. Now, if we see that you are not performing well and are deficient in a lot of areas, there's nothing wrong to look and to revisit your franchise because that's the very basis why you're operating. Now, if you feel that we are in violation or whatever, do we have quorum, Mr. Chair?
Yes, we do.
Why?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. But I just would like to make this clear. This is a continuance, and being that we are now still in line because that was the problem of the last hearing. We had to summarize it, and it all boils down to the transmission lines. And that's why everything is being asked here is still in connection with. Ang problema lang po, ma'am, nagsasanga eh. No? May mga pumapasok because of your answers, sumasanga rin yung tanong, no? But I think it's still, okay, the questions like, are you ready? Can you do it? Because now they're saying that there are problems and they're now of the position that we may not be ready for problems like this in the future. Parang, that's, so because of the answers, nagsasanga ho yung tanong.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we recognize, of course, the powers of the committee to look into the performance of NGCP. However, these are details that we are not prepared with today because we were looking more into operational. We are not refusing to answer any of the questions po, but we are saying that the detail at which we're making the discussion, we cannot match the preparedness of Congressman Dan Fernandez and Congressman JJ Suarez. So again, if we will be more than happy po to address these questions, but we request that we be given time to give an intelligent answer because we all want the public to understand the situation, and NGCP, of course, is more than willing for the sake of transparency po.
Okay, thank
Mr. Chair.
you very much. We take note of that,
Mr. Chair.
NGCP. Before I continue, the chair recognizes the Honorable Jude Asidre of Tingog, Sunny Lagon of Ako Bisaya, and Daphne Lagon of the 6th District of Cebu. So we have a lot of members in Zoom right now. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I just would like to put forward the motion.
Yeah. Yes, may I know what the motion is? Yes.
Given that we are touching on sections and articles of the franchise being enjoyed by NGCP, I therefore move that the next committee hearing of the Committee on Franchise, we do a thorough review and we do a thorough analysis of the performance of NGCP with respect to its franchise. So moved, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion
Second motion, Mr.
by
Chair.
the Deputy Speaker, J.J. Suarez, duly seconded by the Honorable Dan Fernandez. Are there any objections? The chair hearing no objections. The motion is hereby approved. proceed. Any questions?
Yeah,
Honorable
so-
Dan Fernandez, you have the floor.
To answer the query of DS JJ Suarez, ano, kung ano yung category ng SGP shares, no? Dito sa decision ng ERC number 2018-014 MC ay nakalagay po dito, SGP only subscribe non-voting prepared shares on NGCP. So meaning, ano bang ibig sabihin ng prepared shares? So wala silang voting capacity. Diba? Wala silang voting capacity. You have to look into this, Mr. Chairman, because kung 20% yung ibinenta sa tao, prepared, non-voting, 40% is owned by China Grid Corporation. Yung 60% owned by the Filipinos, magiging 40% na lang yan. So yung 20% prepared, non-voting. So sino na ngayon ang magdidesisyon? Equal na ang China. Saka yung 40% ng nila Henry C.
Repeat. You're now saying that...
Now, what I'm trying to imply here, Mr. Chairman, mayroong din implication sa national security to. Kasi nga, yung binenta nila, non-voting, prepared. Binili na sa NGCP yung 20%. Eh, ang breakdown niyan, 40% owned by China Grid Corporation and 60% owned by Filipinos. Binenta mo ngayon yung 20% sa public. Pero, prepared lang siya. Hindi siya common share. So, mawawala na ng voting power yung mga Pilipinos. Have you seen the implication of this backdoor that they have done? Mayroon pong may national security content. And we have to be wary about this. I don't know. But that is my understanding. It is a decision that I've gotten last night from the website of the ARC.
Congressman Dan, just for clarification, kasi sa dami yun yung present, 40% ang foreign.
Yes,
alam natin.
China Grid
Now,
Corporation.
because of these share swaps, posible ba na lumagpas na ng 40% ang foreign?
Well, you'll never know. Ha? Oh, may foreign nominee. Makikita mo, Mr. Chairman, no? May PCD Nominee Corporation, 13.32, may 7.43%. And that's the reason why
So,
I wanted that this corporation be invited in the next hearing. PCD Nominee Corporation, non-Filipino. They owned 7.43%, which will be added.
To the 40.
Hindi ko alam, baka mamaya yung China Grid Corporation din ang kumuha nito. Eh di majority na sila. Sa panagbotohan, China na masusunod, hindi na po tayo. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chairman, even before, China naman ang nasunod Di ba? Alam naman natin, si Wenbo, ang pumirma doon sa mga, we have the investigation that we have conducted.
Anyway, we'll go on sa detalye. Can you stay on
Mr.
track
Chairman,
with your
what I'm trying
questioning
to
on the
point out-
shares?
What I'm trying to point out, Mr. Chairman, even before, doon po sa kanilang operation, management of the grid, ayan si Mr. Liu Shangqiang, yung Assistant Chief Technical Officer, siya pumipirma. Management sila. Even si Lee Sinhua, Chairman of the Board of Audit Committee, approving authority, si Anthony Almeida, witness nga lang Si Mr. Wenbo, Chief Technical Officer, is the approving authority for such hiring. Siya nag-hire Chinese. Hindi pa nga nabibili ang share ng mga foreigners. Sila na nagdidesisyon. What more? Pag sila na may-ari ng mga shares.
We take note of that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
At that in the future, in the next hearing. So now, may we now ask, before we now proceed, I would like to now ask
Mr. Chair, just before your question, I just want to ask something.
the Honorable Deputy Speaker. I will wave to our dear Deputy Speaker, J.J. Suarez.
Gusto ko lang malaman ewan ko lang kung sasagutin pa tayo ng NGCP. Maybe from DOE. Itong kinikita ba ng NGCP is taxable?
Mr. Chair, based on the franchise, it's a 3% in lieu of all, whether it's national or local taxes.
So you're saying they are not paying any income tax?
No, sir. But Mr. Chair, I think in a better position would be ERC because sila yung mag.
So meaning
Yes.
the only thing that they're paying for is franchise.
That's correct, Mr.
And
Chair.
and how much percent is that?
That's 3% in lieu of all taxes. 3% of gross revenues in lieu of all taxes.
So ito po kasi Mr. Chair yung point ko, medyo nakakakulo ng dugo. Ang laki-laki na nga ng kinikita nila, ang laki-laki ng dipendendo nila, hindi pa sila nagbabayad ng buwis kasi nasa prangkisa nila na hindi sila dapat magbayad ng buwis. Kasi lang mahal-mahal ang presyo ng kuryente. Dahil nagbabayad tayo sa mga proyektong hindi pa tapos. Kung kakwentahin natin, ewan ko lang kung kayang makwenta ngayon to ng DOE at saka ng ERC. Kung kakwentahin natin, magkano yung naidadagdag sa binabayad ng isang Juan de la Cruz para sa mga proyektong hindi pa tapos? Kasi sinabi nyo, nagbabayad tayo sa mga proyektong hindi pa tapos. Ngayon, para mas maunawaan lang ng mga Pilipino, magkano yun? May kwenta na po ba tayo doon?
Medyo mahirap pong kwentahin yun sa lahat ng project, but we can try, Mr.
No, but
Chair.
okay. So, Chairman Di Malanta, let's say at 100 pesos. Let's say X equals 100 pesos. This is how much the Filipino people are paying. On a, let's say, how do you see it? Average number, 100 pesos. Magkano dun sa 100 pesos ay yung mga proyektong hindi pa tapos na binabayaran natin? Would you say 20%, 30%?
Hindi po kasi siya 1:1, Mr. Chair. For
Yes, I
example, yung pong portion na binabayaran na natin pero hindi pa kompleto, mako-compute po namin yun. Pero meron din po kasing yung tinatawag nating cost of energy not served. Dahil po hindi nila na kompleto, hindi nakapasok yung generator, for example. So may cost din po yun. Yun pong consumers na hindi napagsilbihan, gumamit po ng ibang kuryente, diesel generator, for example po. Sinasama po namin yun sa computation. So yun po yung cost of alternative energy supply. May per project po, may costing po tayo dyan. So mabibigay naman po namin yun. Pero
Yeah, so...
in billions po kasi yun, Mr. Chair.
Hindi kasi, syempre ako, nagbabayad kami ni Ana ng kuryente buwan-buwan. Eh di, alam kasi namin, pag nagbayad kami, base to sa ginamit namin. Kaya kami nagagalit sa bahay minsan pag naiiwan bukas ang aircon kasi nakikita namin tumataas yung metro namin, bayad sa Meralco. Kasi yun pala, may mga binabayaran tayo na hindi pala natin pinakikinabangan. Tama po ba yun?
Ganun po yung nangyayari pa.
That's highway robbery, ah.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sorry.
I think that
Just wanted to point that out because, you know, we have to talk about efficiency. We need to talk about improving government services. We need to improve about, you know, bettering utilities for the Filipino, which is basic. You know, electricity is just like water. You can't live without it now. So we cannot allow such a situation where someone is definitely benefiting so much while the Filipino people continue to suffer. So I think, Mr. Chair, thank you for supporting my motion, and I would like to yield to the chairman for that point.
Thank you very much.